Folks, I've got two of my favorite people on here interviewing Vivek Ramaswamy. I'm talking about DC Draino and Candace Owens. This is a Rumble clip. I got you the best 3 or 4 minutes of the video. They're asking him the right questions. You know, everything I've heard so far about Vivek Ramaswamy, I've liked. He talks right. He sounds right. Seems very smart. He seems like his heart's in the right place for running for president. And maybe one day he'll get his shot. It's not his time. I'm going to go ahead and say that. He said he's not interested in second, which I would say that too if I was running for first. That only makes sense. But at any rate, I'm trying to catch him in a lie or catch him in a fault, just like I'm trying to do all the other candidates, just so I can see their true colors. And DeSantis done let us all know what he's like, and that's why he's losing the people that he used to have. He's went from about 22% down into the low teens, and even as low as 9% in some states. And so DeSantis has lost his momentum. Why Vivek Ramaswamy has gained quite a bit of the momentum, and it's because of the way he talks. It's because of the fact that he's against big government. He is willing. He said he would pardon Trump. He's not said one bad thing about Trump. Come right out and attack Trump in any kind of way, and so I've been listening. I think he's worth listening to as an individual, for candidate for maybe later, or maybe even in Trump's cabinet, just because I think he's got the right stuff. But on this video clip here, which I love to ask every politician, ask them questions about elections. The only time I've had a chance to really get in front of a politician was here in town. A representative, District 17 here in Waco, is Pete Sessions. Well, I got to meet Pete Sessions at over in a town called West, not too far from here, like a town hall type thing, and I got to ask him about that 2,000 Mules movies. I got to ask him how he thought about it, what he thought about it, and he actually answered me honestly and recommended it for everybody, and that told me what I needed to hear. But he went on to talk about some things that were going on screwy in Houston and other places, but he was at least honest about it. I was shocked. I got all that on my Rumble channel on a video over there. If you're interested, let me know in the comment section. I'll shoot you the link. But at any rate, if I ever get a chance to get in front of a politician, that's one of the questions I want to ask them. How do you feel about elections? Do you think they were fair? Do you think there was maladministration or fraud or alleged fraud possibilities? What do you think? And that's what I would love to do. I'd love to ask them all that question, because you know what that does? That backs a Republican in a corner in a hurry if you ask them that question. And if they are about saving this country, they'll answer that question 100% honestly, no matter what their answer is. And I think Ramaswamy kind of plays a little, I haven't really thought about it. No, I didn't watch the whole thing. Now, y'all tell me what you think. I'm going to stop it a couple times at a few key points that I thought were just, no, I think that's a rehearsed answer, or maybe a way of not answering the question completely. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and get into it. DC and Candace Owens, they light him up with some questions, and I'm glad to see it. For YouTube's sake and everybody's listening's sake, these are the opinions of DC Draino and Candace Owens as far as the allegations, because using the words like fraud assumes criminality, which have not been proven in the court of law, and so it's actually the wrong term. I think maladministration is probably a better term for legal sake, but these are not my opinions. These are just the opinions of the people of this interview, for YouTube's sake.
Vivek, for coming on and having this discussion, knowing that I'm a very vocal critic. My main point is that Vivek does not believe there was actual election fraud with the ballots. that he can watch something like 2,000 Mules. Did you see 2,000 Mules, Vivek?
I've seen part of it, I have to admit. I did not finish it, but
I highly recommend you go watch it because it's probably one of the most important documentaries in recent history that showed massive systemic election fraud across this country. And to me, as a vocal supporter and just a voice for the MAGA base, I will say, if you do not believe that there was election fraud beyond what big tech suppressed, that they are not muling around hundreds of thousands, if not millions of ballots, that if at 3 a.m. in the Detroit TCF arena, they didn't drop off hundreds of thousands of ballots on video that the Gateway Pundit has exposed, that they were banned from Twitter, that there was no Republican supervisors, that we saw vote spikes in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania overnight in the dead of night, that they shut down Georgia for a water pipe break, and then suddenly they pull out ballots out of under the table and start counting. If you don't think that there's election fraud, in my opinion, that is disqualifying for anyone running in the GOP, because this is not politics as normal.
Let me just say one thing to that.
All right, let me stop it before Vivek gets to respond. Ooh, he just took a beat down just with the question alone. I love it. That's why I listen to DC Draino. He brings the fire every single time. I do recommend him if you're over on Twitter. He's got some of the best tweets out there. This is what I think. I think Vivek has thought about this. I think he is one of those people that is afraid of the question, so he doesn't want to commit. No, there was none, and there's no possibility of none, because then you're hated by some. And then you go the other direction and you say, no, I think there was, and for sure there definitely was. Well, then you're hated by the other half. And so either way you go, if you're a politician, unless you're Trump, most of them stay on the fence about that question because it alienates people they don't want to alienate. And I think that's what Vivek's trying to do here. He says he only watched part of the 2,000 Mules movie. Why didn't he watch the whole movie? That just sounds like a lie to me. Maybe somebody showed him a clip on a phone or something, possibly, while he was in transit or something. But if you sit down to watch a movie and you see what was going on, why would you not be speaking up about it? Why would you not be mad about it unless you were a phony? And so I take this as he handled it the best way he knew how, but I don't think it was genuine. Just my opinion, folks. And you'll see that as you continue to watch this video.
About my view is aggressive. They are coming after us.
I want to just jump in here. I just want to jump in here. And so first and foremost, I'll say that I believe that there was election fraud. And I've made that statement over and over again.
I do too.
I've tweeted that. Yeah. I mean, by the way, mail-in ballot fraud, 100% agree with Rogan on this point. I do want to say, let's not bifurcate here, because it is relevant to say that there are quotations being passed around that are out of context. So I do want to own that and say to Vivek, thank you for explaining that. It is relevant that you were using something that was pertaining to Stacey Abrams. To move on the discussion to talk about mail-in ballots is actually really important as well. So first off, Rogan, to ask you this question, and only because I only found this out.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Can I say one thing quickly to clarify my view here? I, based on everything I've seen, believe there was absolutely ballot fraud. Rogan, here's one of the things I'll say is we all have our areas of expertise. Until I decided to enter the political arena, as opposed to criticizing stakeholder capitalism and the World Economic Forum agenda and central bank digital currencies and ESG, where my focus has been, this has not been an area where I've dived as deep. So what I will say is, yes, there's been ballot fraud. What I see that is damningly convincing, driven by data, is that absolutely, I have seen enough data to know that the 2020 outcome of the election would have been different if the Hunter Biden laptop story had not been suppressed. If Google had not made an illegal campaign contribution of the largest scale in human history to the Biden campaign by suppressing and changing the way search algorithms works. So there, I'm actually definitively convinced that it changed the outcome of the election. I haven't said that it didn't in the case of the ballot fraud. I just said truthfully, and it's a fact now, and I'm very open to data to convince me of it. I haven't seen data of that scale on the election changing outcome, and that's what I've said, and I'm open about that. but I just want to be clear always where my views are and where they aren't. And so that's, I think, a fair discussion for us to have.
Which is fair. I mean, I've sat down with people and they've wanted me to say something, and I'm like, to be honest, I don't know that confidently myself yet, so I don't want to say something because everybody else is saying it. But Rogan, you've done a great job of sharing the gateway.
That's just my opinion about how he reacted to the question. I think he was being ingenuous right there, folks. You just tell me what you think in the comment section down below. I'll try not to say too much.
Pundit stuff over the last couple of days. Vivek, I really would recommend that you really dive into it because you are correct. Gateway Pundit did fantastic work. They were banned from Twitter, and it is something that I feel in my heart and my soul to be true. That there was.
Go to Patriots. Tell me what you think about that crazy video, and what you think about Vivek Ramaswamy. I may be wrong, but that just seemed kind of like not the right answers. Just my opinion. Said he watched part of 2,000 Mules. Why wouldn't you watch the whole thing? That's one of my questions.